At Sierra, discover great deals on top brand workout gear, like high-quality bikes, which might lead to another discovery. Getting back on the saddle isn't always comfortable. Good news is Sierra has massage guns. And chafe wipes, too. Discover top brands at unexpectedly low prices. Sierra, let's get moving.
This Steve Jones Show podcast is now loading. The Steve Jones Show podcast is presented by Sunbury Motor Company, Purdy Insurance, and Brewers Outlet. Bringing you an in-depth look at Penn State sports and more. This is the Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK. The Steve Jones Show is presented by Purdy Insurance, Brewers Outlet, and Sunbury Motor Company. Now from the Sunbury Motor Studio, here's Steve Jones.
Great to be with you on the show today. Opening half hour brought to you by Purdy Insurance, Market Street in Sunbury. Go to PurdyInsurance.com. Auto, home, life, business, boat, motorcycle, RV. Yes. Your insurance needs are multiple. Very rare when you just have an insurance need. You need somebody that's going to go out and organize everything for you, get you the best price, make sure you're fully insured. That's Purdy Insurance. Market Street in Sunbury, go to PurdyInsurance.com. We're going to open up here in a few moments. We're going to take a break first, but then in a few moments. The one person who has the ability to make the suit sound rational.
Not sure how I should take that.
Exactly the way I said it.
I mean, the early days when you and I were working together, I mean, I was more of the guy at the bar complaining about the team. I don't complain much about the team now because I think I've looked at things from a bigger picture.
No, you just haven't been on the air that much.
Oh, that's right. What it is then. All right, I got you. Throw the ball down the field. Quit standing in the pocket for 20 minutes. You're right. Nothing changed.
Your guy was in the Pro Bowl.
Why?
What does that tell you about the Pro Bowl?
Why? I saw that, and they made
because
a big deal about it. I'm like, why and how?
Because they're out of guys.
That is the truth. That I'll buy that. But, man, if you're in the Pro Bowl anything competition with the record that
you made the playoffs.
Woo. The standard is the standard. Yeah, well, you're not reaching it.
Okay, now have you noticed how you've reacted in the last minute?
Yeah, it's back.
Hey, you really haven't changed that
It's
much.
back. Darn it.
Right.
I thought I grew.
Right. Well, maybe not emotionally. All right, so.
Ouch. Whoo. Man, hang on. I got to get a standing 8 for that one.
Oh, goodness gracious. So we'll hear from Matt. It's always
entertaining.
Sure, I get entertained by it. Sometimes I actually leave and I come back. Okay, good. We got it. All right. So what we'll do is we will take a break. He'll then call in and let the party begin. Here on News Radio 1070 WKOK.
When car repairs get difficult.
Well, I just don't know.
Me neither.
We get good. Sunbury Motors. More than quality new and used cars, Sunbury Motors specializes in complicated auto repair diagnosis. They can handle intricate repairs and even complete auto body with service open Monday through Friday, 7 till 4. And Sunbury Motors has made simple repairs easy. Maintaining your vehicle is necessary. Finding the time to do it is difficult. Welcome to Sunbury Motors Quick Lane. Just walk in or call ahead. Relax in their remodeled waiting room with Wi-Fi, beverages, and snacks. Will Sunbury Motors factory-trained techs take care of your oil change, tire alignments, brakes, and inspections. Quick Lane, 6:30 to 6 Monday through Friday, Saturday 6:30 till 2. Sunbury Motors, Ford and Hyundai, North 4th Street, Sunbury. And Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf. We take the out of auto repair.
Hi, this is Season. For over 100 years, the Purdy Insurance Agency has been protecting families and businesses of the greater Susquehanna Valley and beyond. With the experience of our trained and knowledgeable staff, you can rest assured that your needs will be evaluated and met by some of the industry's best representatives. No matter what your insurance needs are, call Purdy Insurance today at 570-286-5855. Visit our website at purdyinsurance.com or check us out on Facebook to see what we can do for you.
It is the most interesting 15 minutes in radio. Brought to you by Purdy Insurance. Market Street in Sunbury. Go to purdyinsurance.com. Do we have him?
Indeed.
Oh, geez. Oh. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, he went out and bought a white Eagles jumpsuit for himself and each of the three boys because that's what they wore on Media Day last night. That's the kind of fan he is. Matt Catrillo.
That's exactly right. Watched every bit of it and enjoyed it, and I also even got myself a Saquon Barkley Super Bowl patch Kelly or midnight green jersey, which is due to come in. So I'm ready to go for the big game. So we are all set in the Catrillo household for Sunday night.
Does it have the Super Bowl patch though?
It does, yeah.
Right,
that's what I'm saying. I got the whole shebang ready to go.
So when they lose, are you ever going to wear it because it will represent losing?
Yes, I will wear it because win or lose, I expect Saquon Barkley to break Terrell Davis's rushing record for both the regular season and postseason. He's 29 yards away. I would hope, win or lose, he can get 29 yards from the season that he had. So it'll still be something. But it's a risk I'm willing to take. But I am that confident, though, Steve Jones, that the Eagles are going to make it different this time.
Why?
Well, I think they're better equipped on defense this year, and I just like the mindset of the team right now, and I think it showed last night. I just think they're a determined group, and they want to finish the deal this time. And I think it showed in their dominating performance for the most part against Washington 2 weeks ago. And I expect them to do the same this week. The biggest thing for the Eagles to me is the running game with Saquon, and they're the number one defense for a reason. That's because they can turn the ball over. And special teams has even created those types of plays in the postseason. Literally every game this postseason, special teams has created at least one turnover. And that wins you these types of games. And listen, Kansas City's done a great job in taking care of the football, too. Both Mahomes and Hurts are combined for, I think, 15 touchdowns, no picks. So it may not come by turning Mahomes over, but somebody else, fumble, whatever, special teams, all that matters. The Eagles are better at doing that. And they got Saquon this time around, so I think it's going to be a different story. I'm going right now 34-26 Eagles.
So after watching them in a press conference setting, you're more confident?
Oh, no, it's not just the press conference. I became more confident after the way they played against Washington and just the way they conducted themselves afterwards. I got to tell you, with the Chiefs, obviously they've gotten a lot of luck again this year. They've been able to pull out a lot of close games and have a lot of bounces go their way. But I got to tell you, maybe it's just me, but I felt a little complacency from that whole group, from Mahomes and Kelsey. and everybody during that AFC Championship trophy celebration. I don't know. I just feel like the Eagles are the hungrier team. Maybe that's just me, but that's just the way I feel.
Do you want to know how much of last night I watched?
I know, none.
Exactly.
Is there an answer? Wait. Is there an answer of less than none? Because I went less than none.
Oh, I mean, to be honest with you, I've gone to Super Bowl Media Day before. It's just a waste of time. I mean, it's just words. How could you get something out of it?
Well, like I said, this is mostly from the way they played against Washington 2 weeks ago, and I still thought after seeing everybody last night, I think this team is locked in. I really do.
Well, first of all,
I do feel the same way about the Chiefs. I think they're a little more locked in and maybe looked a little more determined than the podium ceremony, but I still think ultimately the Eagles are the better team on paper and the hungrier team.
The podium ceremony?
I don't know. I read body language well, and I don't know. I just felt a little complacency with the Chiefs. That's all.
They played the better team in the championship game. Buffalo's better than Washington.
Yeah, I agree with that. But regardless of who you're playing, unless you're playing the Little Sisters of the Poor somehow in the craziest playoff settings known to man, it's hard to put up 55 points against anybody, let alone the third time around against your division opponent, who's playing about as well as anybody could play, against that quarterback that's playing as well as anybody can play. But like I said, bottom line, Eagles have the better running game with Saquon. They can keep, and they have the ability to keep Mahomes and the Chiefs' offense off the field, and they can force turnovers.
Yeah, but they don't do that. That's the problem. Watching the Eagles the last couple of weeks, they have not run the ball enough, in my opinion.
Which is true, but when they do run the ball, they're the best at doing it. I mean, they put on a 10.5-minute drive against your Steelers for a reason.
Because the Steelers stink.
To do that.
Because the Steelers' defense was gassed at the end of the year.
But they can do that. But I'm saying that, it wasn't. That's the longest drive they had all season. But they've put away teams in the fourth quarter and wear them down for a long time. Even if they don't run the football as much as you think you and I should, they still go little 2, 3, 4 yard chunks, and then the fourth quarter they wear you down. That's just the way the Eagles have done it, and I can see them doing that again to the Chiefs. Now, I do think as well, whoever gets out to a lead is key in this game too. But regardless, I just think the Eagles overall are better equipped this time around to beat Mahomes and the Chiefs. I really do.
Well, both teams each caught a big break in the playoffs. The Chiefs caught a big break because they only had to play either Buffalo or Baltimore. They didn't have to play both. That's just how the seeding worked out. That's one. The Eagles caught a gigantic break. They didn't have to go to Detroit. I mean, both teams caught big breaks. In other words, Kansas City only had to play either Buffalo or Baltimore, not both. And the Eagles didn't have to play at Detroit.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely true. But I've always also been I've also been a proponent of belief that you create your own luck as well in this league, and both teams have done that.
Okay. I think if the Eagles aren't running the football and having time of possession by at least 8 minutes over the Chiefs, they're in some trouble. You have to keep the ball out of the Chiefs' hands. They only need 2 minutes to score.
Oh yeah, no. Time possession is definitely critical. There's no question about that.
Well, I think the Eagles are overall top to bottom more talent. Although at last I checked, Darius Slay still plays for you, right?
Oh, that hurts.
Right. But yes, he does. But I actually think he's playing a little bit better than what he did 2 years ago. Only because he's got Quinyon Mitchell on the other side and not James Bradbury this time.
GP.
I think that's part of it.
GP. You know what GP means? Gigantic problem. Mitchell is what Slay claims he is. Mitchell is a great corner who doesn't talk. Slay is a decent, good corner who talks a lot.
No, I think that's a fair assessment, but I think if you compare this year to 2022, I think Slay's playing a little bit better right now.
Oh, goody. That's great. Slightly better ain't going to help you because he was terrible against Kansas City 2 years ago. He better be slightly better. Oh, my goodness. They ran that wing fake with him over and over. Wait, when a team keeps running the same play, that's not good.
Oh, yeah, and absolutely. And we talked about that when it happened at that time. Yeah, there's no question. He's got to be better this time around.
Matt, is there a prop bet on whether the Eagles will run Philly special?
Oh, jeez.
That is interesting, but I'm going to say I'm sure it's out there, but I'm going to say no.
I would say no because I don't think they have anybody else that can throw the ball on the offense. Remember, Burton's the one that threw it. Burton played quarterback against Penn. Burton played quarterback against Penn State in the Outback Bowl.
Yes.
I
do agree. I don't think there's anybody that can throw like Burton can this time around, if they even wanted to. But I don't see that happening. What I will see though is what the over/under is going to be, and if anybody takes the over/under with the brotherly shove, that's your prop bet right there.
Okay. Well, let me put it this way. I'm the only person here that's actually seen Saquon throw the ball.
Excellent point.
Okay.
That's true.
So I vote no on the Philly special.
That's fine. I just need him to run the ball. That's all. I don't need him to throw the ball. I just need him to run the ball and catch a couple of passes, and we'll go from there.
But that's okay. You could just put Kenny Pickett in.
Oh, jeez.
About that.
So what is on your menu on Sunday as you watch this? And will you scream at the kids when Mahomes throws a touchdown pass?
Well, food is still to be determined because everybody but me, and I knock on wood as I say this, is still recovering from the flu and other illnesses. It's been a rough few weeks in the Catrillo household. Ideally, I would like to make cheesesteaks, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. And as far as the latter question, that will not be happening if Mahomes throws the touchdown. But if Hurts is the one or anybody on the Eagles that is scoring the touchdown, then all bets are off, especially if you were in this household and saw what happened on the Hurts touchdown run against the Rams and the Saquon's touchdown run to start off the game against the Commanders last week.
Yeah.
Lisa may or may not have said, "Get away from me."
I was going to say, listen.
Hang on. Prop? Wait a minute. What's the prop bet on her saying, "Get away from me"? That's what I want to know.
The over is 5.
I say it's
the
the first quarter. No later than 10 minutes in.
It'll take less time. It'll take less time to sing the national anthem. That's the only thing.
Those are all very good wagers.
She may say it during the national anthem. Get away from me.
Matt, let me give you, listen, as somebody who had a young child when the Steelers were in the Super Bowl last, let me give you a piece of advice, and this is for your safety and the safety of the children.
Okay.
Make sure they are on the other side of the room.
Oh, God.
Because you can throw things that can reach them if they're not. And I don't want to see anything like that happen. I'm not saying I did that. I'm just saying I want to make sure you don't.
This is not the kind of show I'm trying to promote here.
I'll definitely take that into consideration.
Just so you know, I'm going to be sitting in 70-degree weather at Santa Anita Park in a box.
With no dog in the hunt.
Watching the game with no dog in the hunt, right, at all. Right, just enjoying myself, just having a good time while you are sweating bullets and then regretting that you're going to be on the show next week after Kansas City wins.
That's
Listen, if Kansas City wins again, I will at least continue to still be happy for our local connection, Brett Veach. I just actually interviewed his dad, Bob, for the second year in a row on my show on SECVA that will air this weekend. Shameless plug. So I will still be happy for them somewhat if the Kansas City were to win.
You'll be a wreck.
I guess we'll see how it goes.
You're a wreck now.
I'm pretty good right now. It is, but
You're
I
a wreck.
feel like the week has been dragging. Like I am so ready for Sunday already, and it's only Tuesday.
When does the pregame start at the Catrillo house? That's what I want to know.
1 o'clock, just like Fox.
I'll be watching horses running at 1 o'clock. Yes.
I'll just be taking a nap.
I'm not watching that stuff. Are you kidding me? Oh, you got to be kidding me.
Yes,
He
I
grew
realize
up
that.
in a poor home.
Party time, game time, or just fun time. Doesn't matter what time it is because it's Brewers Outlet time. The beverage supermarket has the area's largest beer selection. Imports, microbrews, ciders, and domestics. Pick from over 100 ice-cold 12-packs and dozens of 24-ounce singles. Soda, snacks, hot sauces, fresh roasted peanuts. Make it one-stop party shopping, and don't forget the pickle bar. So whatever you're celebrating or just doing it up, Brewers Outlet, Reagan Street, Sunbury wants to see you. And thank you for your years of patronage.
Bringing you an in-depth look at Penn State sports and more. This is the Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK. The Steve Jones Show is presented by Sunbury Motor Company, Purdy Insurance, and Brewers Outlet. Now from the Sunbury Motor Studio, here's Steve Jones.
Welcome back to the Steve Jones Show. On the way in the next hour, Neil Coulong will be joining us. Matt Catrillo the previous half hour. And, of course, if you miss any part of the Steve Jones Show, you can always catch it on the podcast. And you can find that just by going to your favorite podcast source or Spotify and just search Steve Jones. And then when you're there, make sure you click follow, and then you'll get updates every time we send out a new edition of the Steve Jones Show. Super Bowl week. Talked a little bit about the Eagles and the Chiefs. Had Merrill Reese yesterday giving us some insight on the Eagles.
We also received no insight in the past half hour. All right, so
No. We do know that the boys will be able to watch the game. They just aren't allowed in the same room for language reasons, I believe.
See, I don't have this issue. I watch the game, and I'm done.
All right. Here's the thing. Because of how long you've been doing games, you've been able to control the passion. All right? You're able to channel it a little bit. Because you like to be excited on a Penn State game when you're calling it. You know, you do it at the right times, but you don't do it too much, and you're always throwing fact in there. When you're just a fan, there's passion involved, and you don't need to worry. I mean, fact, there's no reason for fact. You don't need fact. Everything is just emotion. What, did you quit?
I feel like I'm involved in some sort of like mini insane asylum.
I get upset when I see the post-game press conferences. I mean, every time I hear Mike Tomlin at a post-game press conference say, we just weren't good enough. No kidding. You lost badly.
Okay, so
can we bring some insight into this?
Okay, so I've got one guy telling me he's ultra confident after watching the press conferences last night. And I've got another guy telling me he's ultra depressed when he hears the post-game press conferences. What am I dealing with here? Do you think I walk out of the pregame show and go, "Oh, I feel a lot better now about everything," or do I feel better about watching practice? It's just like, come on.
I don't want to watch practice. That's the problem. If I watch practice, I'd probably be more upset than watching the game.
Oh, God. You guys, I got one guy, the post-game press conference is terrible. I got the other guy, I watched last night and I feel better. You know what? Neither team has practiced this week at all. They don't start practicing till tomorrow.
Yeah, but you can see where people's mental, you can see the mental status. Like, how about some of the guys that have never been in a Super Bowl before? Are they ultra nervous?
Oh, God.
Will they mellow out? Will they try and do more than they're capable of doing because they want to make a big play in the Super Bowl and end up making a mistake? I can see that.
In a press conference?
I can see that in a conversation, yeah. I can see that in a conversation.
I don't care what they say.
Now, in the post-game press conference...
It's all talk.
In the post-game press conference, that's different.
Now, if I hear a guy say, okay, like, it's just another game. Okay.
It's not.
Now, that's the guy you need to really worry about.
Yeah, it's not. Okay? Be honest. It's not.
Okay? Suddenly, a mistake is incredibly magnified in something like this. And you know what's interesting is that when a mistake happens, you know what really makes it magnified? You look at the clock and realize how much time is left. And do we have enough time to make up for it? You start to get like, can we do it? And that is an issue in a big game. But I have a guy now overconfident because of the post-game press conference or the pre-game press conference. I have another guy depressed because of the post-game press conference. Now, I realize that the post-game press conference has magnified your depression because you're obviously taking it after a loss.
That's true.
That's why I said it.
Yeah.
All right, so...
And I'm tired of hearing the same things in said press conferences after consecutive losses.
Here's the bottom line. You're really not that good.
I agree. and believe me, Mike Tomlin says that week in and week out. We just weren't good enough. Well, fix it.
Well, sometimes you can't fix it. Okay, you can only fix it if you have the options available to fix it. If you don't, you can't. I mean, and that's something. Well, we need to fix the offensive line. Okay. Well, how?
Well, you're not going to do that mid-season.
Okay, let me give you a basketball example. Okay. Penn State will play Minnesota tonight. Nick Kern will start at forward. Okay. Now, Puff Johnson got hurt. Nick Kern was coming off the bench. Well, with Puff out, Nick is now starting. The question is, who replaces Nick? You don't have to replace Nick. He's starting. No. Nick was coming off the bench. Who's now replacing Nick? Well, you don't. There isn't anybody replacing Nick. Okay, there's nobody else that has stepped up and is taking on Nick Kern's bench role that is anywhere near as effective as Nick Kern is.
Which is why he's in that role in the first place.
Right. So Mike Rhodes can't fix that because there isn't a fix available for him to fix that. He has to work around it, but there's no fix. And see, that's what I'm talking about. You have to have a fix available. Like, didn't play well enough? Yeah, because you don't have, he's already got the kid from Washington who was supposed to be the starting left tackle, out for the year. Dan Moore was your starting left tackle. Dan Moore, started off pretty well, but then really struggled the last half of the season.
Well, the defense has started to see his tendencies, yeah.
But you can't, in other words, everything shows up on video.
Right, exactly.
Right? But there's nothing that the Steelers can do to fix it. There's nobody available to change it for you. You can maybe get some help over there. You can chip maybe, use a running back, but then you can't use them as a receiver. In other words, there starts to become a domino problem if there's a problem you can't fix. Right? And that's big. Like I'm talking about Darius Slay and Mitchell. I don't care if Matt may say, Slay had a much better year. I still say that Slay is a decent to good corner. He is way far away from being a great corner. The Mitchell kid, on the other hand, the other side, that's where they're way better because he's a lot better. Slay is Slay. He's going to get beat on Sunday at some point. I mean, he just is because he talks a lot. I'm big play, whatever. Why don't you just go by Darius and just keep your mouth shut and play football, right? Because the more you talk, the less impressed I get. I watch him play. Don't like him. I don't think he's a good player, to be honest with you. Right? Do I think Mitchell's a good player? I think he's a terrific player. My goodness. Right? DeGene, I think Blankenship's pretty good. Right?
Yeah, but I think that's coachable, though, Steve. I mean, to change one's mindset is, I think, can be coachable.
No,
because
you got to play.
Well, no, I mean, if you stop the talking, stop the acting out, whatever you want to call it. It's like with the Steelers and Pickens. Pickens could be a dramatic receiver, a game-changing receiver. Stop talking. Stop talking to the fans. Stop talking to the everything. Just play ball.
That's why I laughed. He has a camp. Who's signing up for that camp?
No way would I send anybody to that camp.
I'm not going to that camp. I may go for entertainment reasons.
I don't even think. You should pay somebody to go to that camp.
Like, my goodness.
But that's something that I think you can change as a coach and a coaching staff. It's like you got to sit that player down and go, listen, this is the National Football League. All these guys are really good or they wouldn't be here. If you want to stand out, then you're going to have to do something on the field that stands out.
Yeah. Well, look. I think you can talk till you're blue in the face. Personality is a personality. And I think it's very difficult for people to change. Very difficult.
I don't necessarily disagree completely with that. I think it's very difficult to change, and I think you have to want to.
I want to be called Big Play. Why don't you make one?
Right. I'll call you Big Play when you make one.
Call me Big Play. Well, I'm still waiting to see one.
How about I just call you Average Play right now?
Yeah. I mean, again, it is a problem. And also, Owen Burks is a problem. I thought he played very well against Washington. He's hung in there. But he's a player that can be exploited by Kansas City. I mean, that could be a problem for the Eagles in the Super Bowl. Burks playing at linebacker.
Well, that's what I was just going to ask you when you brought that up. Do the Eagles really have anybody in the linebacking core that they feel they can match up with a Kelsey?
It depends on what they think about how they want to play Zach Bond.
I mean, do you really want to put a corner on him or have a safety come up to make that play? I don't think so.
Well, it's interesting because I watched, obviously, Tyler Warren all year. And there's so much of Travis Kelce I see in Warren where no matter what, Warren was getting open every game.
Even when they were doubling him.
Yeah. He still found openings in what was going on. Kelce does the same way. Kelce is, remarkable to me in that darn well he's got to be the guy they want to get the ball to in a lot of situations, and he still gets open. Really? Wow.
Is it just me, or do they not throw the ball to him on like a timing pattern because of the fact that he's always working to get open?
I think he's always working to get open. I don't think they do any timing.
Yeah, that's my point. It's not like he's doing a quick out and Mahomes is throwing it to a zone that he's going to be at. I don't think that happens in this offense because of his ability to find a way to get open.
Yeah. But they haven't practiced yet this week anyway. So,
and Tyler Warren does that same thing.
Yeah.
I don't think they really run a whole lot of pre-run timing type routes with him because of the fact that he's going to find a way to get open.
No, it depends. They've run some timing stuff with him.
How quickly does he go? How quickly does he go in the draft?
He'll be one of the top 15 picks. It's always going to depend on who's picking in what order and who has need.
And the need.
It's always about need. For example, some people would think that Abdul Carter might be the first overall pick in the draft. It was just based on like 1 through 30. But there's going to be people that will take quarterbacks.
Are there any?
Well, there'll be 2 that will go high. Cam Ward from Miami and Shedeur Sanders from Colorado.
Who's the dark horse quarterback that nobody's thinking about right now, maybe, in your opinion? Is there one?
Nope.
That's what I was afraid you were going to tell me.
Yep. There's anybody else.
Because that's what I thought, too.
They all have issues. You can talk about Will Howard and what Will Howard did for Ohio State. He did a great job as a college quarterback. Pro quarterback, he's a backup. Dylan Gabriel, it's not big enough. He's not Doug Flutie. Right? So he's got a couple of issues. Riley Leonard doesn't throw the ball well enough.
So you're saying as a Steeler fan, I'm probably better waiting until next year and going out to Pittsburgh and watching the draft there than watching it at home here this year?
Well, it's in Green Bay this year. If you wanted to go up there, it'd be nice.
No, that's not what I mean. That's not what I mean. There
are only 15, in my opinion, 15 truly competent quarterbacks in the NFL. All right? Really good, competent quarterbacks. You'll see 2 of them on Sunday in Hurts and Mahomes. After that, the fall off really starts. And that's a problem for most of these teams. You're watching Cleveland. Cleveland didn't have anybody play quarterback. Okay, New Orleans didn't have anybody play quarterback. Dallas, after they lose Dak Prescott, as much as they complain about Dak Prescott, at least he's competent.
Can you be successful in the NFL with a so-so quarterback? Or has the NFL evolved into if you don't have a star, you're in trouble?
Well, it's not as if in this century, the 21st century, we got to maybe go back a year beyond that. But it's not as if Brad Johnson and Trent Dilfer have not won Super Bowls.
Right.
Okay. Both are good, strong, functional quarterbacks in the NFL. But neither one of them is a great quarterback.
Dilfer was the one that came to mind. That was the first one that I was thinking of, actually.
And then Brad Johnson's the other one. But again, they were good, right? But, Lewis was a great running back for them. Their defense was off the charts. Tampa's defense was off the charts. Joe Jaravicius was a big part of Johnson's success throwing the ball. But I just think today, I don't think it's any surprise that you had Jalen Daniels, you had Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, right? Lamar Jackson, C.J. Stroud, Jared Goff. Right? These are your playoff quarterbacks. All right? And I think that's a big part of this.
So what you're saying is make sure come August and September I have my hockey jersey ready to go because I'll need that a lot earlier.
Well, I mean, at one point, Russell Wilson was one of those guys.
Yeah, in Seattle. And then everybody figured out, oh, wait, he throws a moonball. We can defend that. And he could run.
No, I mean, he could run, but also his receiving core changed over time. I mean, there's a lot of things that change.
I mean, his mobility is not what it used to be. I mean, that's realistic.
He's 36.
But I think it's time now to, focus on Fields or find somebody new. I mean, it can't be Wilson next year. It can't be.
Fields can run. Fields has a strong arm. Fields only has wind speed when he throws. And I don't think it's any coincidence that the Steelers' offense, at least for a period of time, was better with Wilson than with Fields because I think Wilson sees the field better, and he also has a wider variety of throws.
He's got the mind for it, but he doesn't have the body anymore. And I think Fields has the body, but he hasn't developed the mind for it. If you could merge the two together, you'd have one heck of a quarterback.
No, I think, for example, I don't expect Harris to be with them next year.
No. He's gone.
Right. To be honest with you, I thought T.J. Watt down the stretch didn't play well at all.
Yeah, but part of that was because they could afford to double team him and not have to worry about anybody on the other side.
The other part is even when they had somebody on the other side like Highsmith or whatever, he still wasn't playing well. He did not have a good season.
No, overall it was not a good season. I'll give you that.
I mean, just wasn't. I mean, sometimes you have that. But Jim Knowles had his press conference today. It was what he said at the end that I thought, okay, wow, all right. They asked him about being here. And he said, you know what? He says, I think I can help. Very simple statement. And that simple statement told me a lot. I think I can help. And you know what? I think he can help too. But, as he pointed out, there's been a great tradition. Tom Bradley was outstanding as a defensive coordinator. Bob Shoop was terrific. Brent Pry did a great job. Manny Diaz, right? Then Tom Allen did his job this past year, right? So he knows he's walking into something that has a great tradition. And now it's up to him to look at the personnel, talk with the other coaches, and figure out what they can and can't do with them. That's the next big part of this. Now, he has an advantage here that he did not have at previous stops, whether it was at Western Michigan or Duke or Oklahoma State or even Ohio State. You're now allowed to have OTAs in the off season. So it's not just the winter and into the spring, and then there's that period where you never see him. Because you're allowed to have OTAs now, it'll give him a better chance to really zero in so they can hit the ground running in training camp. I know Matt felt he gave a stable performance in the opening half hour. You can just tell he's panicked. All right. He may be right. The Eagles may win and win by the score he says. But when you're judging on press conference demeanor, Muhammad Ali did that before the first Frazier fight and ended up on his backside in the 15th round. All right, so we'll come back more in a moment here on News Radio 1070 WK.